Robot. I was coming at you with another video review. And we're going back in time a little bit to the Transformers animated universe. Now this is actually a figure that I never got when it first came out, and never really had an interest in getting it. This is the Takara Tomy version of Decepticon Lugnut, and this figure by itself was a little bit more expensive than just the regular Hasbro release. Now the reason I got this one is because there was a local kind of Japanese store in my mall that actually had this at a price of $36.99, and it was 30% off or something like that, so it actually brought the price down to like $25. So I was like, for 25 bucks, I'll get him. I always really had a problem with him because he's always looked too small to me and really doesn't scale well, especially when you put him next to his arch enemy Bulkhead. So I always was on the fence about getting this guy, but like I said, $25, I decided to pick him up. As you can see, Transformers Animated, Decepticon Lugnut, whole bunch of Chinese lettering on here, which I can't read. Really nice kind of picture right there. Of course, you flip it around here on the back. Different modes. You got the robot mode, vehicle mode, his weapon, transform, and his face. And then you see other Decepticons out here. I have no idea what that is, and I have no idea what anything there says, but that's a really nice kind of artistic drawing. And you see Blitzwing actually flying around there in the background, which is really kind of cool. But this is a story. Flip around here. That's all I really know. But I do want to give a good thanks to my friend General Techno, who actually kind of convinced me, to be honest, to get this guy. He said it was a pretty good deal, so I decided to pick him up. So let's get this guy open and see how cool it actually is. Okay guys, so here we have Transformers Animated Lugnut opened up and out of its packaging. And first thing that I gotta say is, he is a little bit more underwhelming than I thought it was going to be. He's a pretty big jet. I mean, you can see, based on my hands, he's a pretty big guy. But there are some aspects of this that really kind of keep it from being a good... it's a good figure. Keeping it from being a great figure. Number one, I can't seem to get this... cockpit area really to stay closed. Part of the gimmick has it, spreading out. It doesn't really stay together very well when it's in this vehicle mode. That really kind of sucks. And then the other problem that I have mostly is his staff weapon. These don't stay really kind of closed very tightly, and you can see, especially on this one, that's all loose and floppy, and that's really kind of ugly. So it's really kind of, I don't want to say underwhelming, but it's definitely a figure that I'm glad I waited this long to get. Now that being said, the Takara version here has a really nice paint job. I love the kind of metallic paint that this has. I hope it's coming across decently enough on camera, but very kind of cool looking. I love the Decepticon logos on here. You got those on both wings. You have little gun turrets right here. Turrets that rotates up there, and then this obviously rotates. I believe this is based off of some kind of a bomber jet. I'm not 100% sure. I'm not an aviation expert, and I really don't care. But in general, this is a very cool looking jet mode. It does have landing gear, which one thing that I absolutely normally would hate, the landing gear in the front here rotates back like this. So if you were to put this down and rotate it, oh look, the landing gear, it moves because you're moving it forward. Oh well, that stays back. One thing that I do like though, they actually clip into place, so it will roll very nicely and kind of stay in its proper position without the actual landing gear flipping back. But overall, definitely a nice looking jet mode. I can't complain too much, but what's really amazing is it goes from being a pretty big sized jet to actually a pretty small robot. And to do that, what we're going to do first, come around here, put the landing gear away, just like so, and then detach these. They just peg in, and then angle these down, just like so, and you see that these are going to become his hands. So unpeg that, angle that down just like that, take these wings, these actually fold up. Come on, just like so. Come around here to the back. This little section right here, this just folds outward. Do that on both sides. And then these little bits right here tab in, kind of angle these out. There we go. And then this whole section, get this out of the way, this whole section is going to swing down and then rotate that around, and you're going to have a little kind of hook in section right here, and the little hooks are right here. So just swivel this up and that should clip into place just like so. Come around here to the legs, and you can already see that these legs are really kind of tiny. He's got little heel spurs here. Fold both of those out. Well, get the front foot. Fold these back. And I mean, these are, you can already tell how tiny these legs are. I mean, these are really tiny legs. You got the arms. Take these little sections, fold these out, kind of just push them down, and they open up his hands, basically. Do that on both sides. And now he's got his hands angling up, and you're already seeing a little bit of the automorph that you have here. And that's one part that kind of sucks. That kind of flops back fairly easily. So keeping it like that, if you rotate this down, boom! There it is, and his chest comes out, head rotates around, and basically here you have him in his robot mode. Now, you can take this section and remove this, put that off, and here's his robot mode. Really dinky. I mean, this thing is uber tiny. You're going to set him right off to the side and kind of get him as straight as possible. He is really kind of back heavy, and you can see that. So you really kind of have to lean him a little bit forward and really kind of rely on these big, gigantic feet to kind of stabilize him. So there he is. And then here's his weapon. Now, this is the other problem that I have with the weapon. You rotate this down, and okay, that's all well and good. You got this little tiny peg right here. You're supposed to push this down, and these are supposed to pop out. Well, mine doesn't. And actually, mine does. Very special thanks to my good friend Scott, who actually pointed this out. Now, it's been so long since I've even bothered to look at a Transformers animated figure or a review for it that I had no idea how to do this. I'm sitting here going like this, and the things aren't popping open. What you actually have to do is you have to peg this in first to his hand. I had no idea. And then you can push down, and then it opens up, and there you have his weapon. I guess that makes sense because he's supposed to go like this, go, and then it's supposed to blow things up. So I guess that makes sense that he's supposed to hold it in order to do that. And then when you take it out, you just take these little guys here, slide them back into place. They're still kind of loose and floppy, but that's, you know, neither here nor there, I guess. There's nothing really I can do about it. But like I said, take these, you push it in, and bam, and that's what you're supposed to do. And then you can see this doesn't really, I mean, that stays back. That doesn't really stay back very well. And push that all the way in, and that's how he kind of holds this. These are actually his hands, or his fingers, I suppose you could say. So you can do that, and you can have him holding it. It doesn't look too bad, to be totally honest. I just wish this guy was really much bigger. I mean, for what he is, he's a good figure. Now remember, he's a Voyager-sized figure, so I'm going to set him right here, if I can get him to kind of stand. So here he is, and here he is next to Voyager-class Starscream. What? I mean, seriously, this is absolutely ridiculous. Now, for those of you that don't know, typically speaking, Transformers are scaled and classified based on the size of their vehicle modes. Which is why in the animated line, for example, the Deluxe Class Lockdown is a Deluxe Class figure because his vehicle is a smaller vehicle. Even though when you transform him into a robot, he's as big as a Voyager, it's the vehicle size that matters. So this is absolutely ridiculous. And even this is ridiculous. This is Deluxe Class Jazz. Deluxe Class. And by the head, you can see Jazz is taller than Lugnut. It's just completely out of whack. This guy, just completely out of whack. Now, I don't have his arch nemesis Bulkhead in Voyager form. He's in storage somewhere, so I really can't show you that comparison. But that figure wasn't very good either. That one was completely ridiculous in terms of size. The actual figure that was good for Bulkhead is the Leader Class Bulkhead. And, yeah. This is a really tiny guy, and not even much of a match for Bulkhead. I mean, this is like the big, massive figure, and this is the little, teeny, tiny boy. The little, tiny boy. And this is... Yeah, Bulkhead, you can do it. Now, in terms of his articulation, it's pretty good. His head doesn't do anything, I don't believe. That doesn't turn at all. His arms up here at the shoulder rotate all the way around. They move in and out like so. They bend at 2 joints here at the elbow. And then depending on if you really kind of consider these his hands, I suppose his fingers are articulated. Nothing at the waist, but his hip rotates forward and back, in and out. He bends at the knee, rotates at the knee, and then the feet, you know, have a little bit of a pivot. I really do actually like the look of this guy. I really think he's very cool looking. He's just way too small. And that was one thing that really always kind of kept me from ever buying him. It's really unfortunate because this guy could have been so much better, and I'm really kind of wondering if the Transformers animated stories, if they actually continued, if we would have ever gotten a leader class version of this guy, because I really think this figure and this character by itself would have absolutely benefited from something like that. I really think a guy of this size and just sheer mass deserved a figure in terms of the leader scale. So to transform him back, just tuck the hands away, these angle back, and then you can just swivel these up. These are going to peg into the underside right here, like that, and then you can fold this down like so. Do that on this side as well. Fold that up, and those peg in, sort of. There we go. Fold that down, just like that. Fold this. That'll rotate that around, but look, see, when you rotate it, it doesn't rotate all the way around, and you kind of have to fix that. Then these, you just fold these forward, they click into place, and they stay right upside, right where they're supposed to. Kind of angle these down like so. Take this section here, detach that, rotate this around. These little feet, kind of get them out of the way. And these are actually kind of loose, and that's kind of unfortunate. Fold that, fold that, fold that, and that. Angle that up and in. Same thing here. Kind of position these up, and then you're going to see a little tab right here that, well, actually I have these upside down. Oh, I had that retarded. Okay, that's how I had it actually. You have to rotate it around, and it has to be like that. And then these come up, and these will tab right on the side. Kind of tuck those away. Then bring this in, fold this around, and this just slots in and pegs into place right there. Kind of push that in, rotate these up. You can fold out the landing gear, although I don't have any nails, so it's never good. There's that. Rotate that around. Oh, and then take these little bits here. Those will tab into place. Do that on both sides. And here you have Lugnut back in his jet mode. Now, as I said, I really do actually like the way that this figure looks, although that still sucks and is kind of sloppy. It just has a few minor problems, and one huge problem, that being it's just way too small. I am very happy and very proud of the fact now that I can honestly say that every single character from Transformers Animated, if it's represented in a toy form, I have it. So this really does kind of complete my Transformers Animated collection. But really, that reason is the only reason I can actually recommend getting this figure. If you really want to try and complete a collection. Or unless you're like my real good friend General Techno, who's a super freak for Lugnut, this is definitely a figure that you probably could pass on and really not miss too much. I mean, it's interesting. It just needs to be about 2 sizes bigger. And, that's really all I can think of saying. I mean, very cool, just really kind of unfortunate and quite possibly a product of the show ending. But that's it, guys. This was Optibotimus. This was Lugnut. And until next time, I want to thank you for tuning in. I'll talk to you later. Fingers of truth, robots who fight it.